Welcome back to Let's Play Parasite Eve, everybody. Couple things before we jump back into this episode. I've made a few adjustments to a couple different things. Number one, I've spent all my bonus points that I got in the last episode. I've pumped it all into my gun right here, power. Now we're at a whopping plus 20. We're 20 points stronger than we should be at this point in the game. As you'll find out very quickly, that's a ridiculous amount of power. Other thing, we're going to cross the road right here. We're going to open this up, and we're going to get the M792, a grenade launcher. But notice that little icon in the bottom, that status ability it has, the like yellow bullet thing. That signifies that this thing has acid rounds. So if you're like me and you've been dealing with poison this entire game and you want a little bit of revenge, this is your chance, because it's a very similar effect. The other thing I've done is I've modified my armor. You'll notice it has a new icon. This is the resist poison. And it's not that I bought this. I know I said I was going to save everything for kind of like the end, and there was a reason for that. But honestly, the B armor this thing was attached to only had +1 defense. It really wasn't. It was really only there just so I could get the status effect. Besides, there's one very big reason I did this, and you'll find out very soon here. Other than that, everything is exactly the way it was. I haven't fought any extra battles or anything. So, let's just hop right down into the sewer and... Ah, God. Brental Floss, you've ruined my mind about this. Why can't things just be innocent? And before you ask, no, this is not a storm sewer. This is the type of sewer you actually think it is. And I'm also going to say that unlike the other sewer we've been through before, this one is incredibly confusing to navigate. Before I even go anywhere, I need to explain this. This place is like a giant grid. It has side paths going off into every possible direction you can think of. It's just a gigantic, confusing mess. And the worst part is, there are useful items hidden all over the place in this place. So here's what I'm going to do for anybody following me on this. I'm going to be giving you guys a mini-map. In fact, I'm going to put it onto the screen right now. So, as you'll notice, this is the map of this entire place. The icon right here represents where I am, and I'm going to be moving it around so that you can follow where I'm going and what I'm doing. And all of these dots, those represent places that treasures are in. Now, I have a very specific path that I go through this place, and if you check over on GameFAQs, it's pretty much the same route. The reason I do this is that even the map that they provide in the strategy guide isn't that easy to follow. So, maybe this will make things just a little bit easier. Now, we've got a brand new type of enemy here. Those are bats. They fire out those sonic waves at you. Now, while not particularly powerful, I'm not gonna lie, these guys inflict the worst status effect in the entire game. What? How did I get poisoned? I have armor that deflects that. Hello? Oh, I guess it's just resists poison, doesn't necessarily prevent it. Oh, well, this episode is just starting off swimmingly, isn't it? Detox that. So yeah, worst status effect in the entire game. I'll try to avoid showing it off if I can. What they inflict is blindness. Yes, this makes a return in this game, but you're thinking, wait a minute, how do you inflict blindness in a game where everything is action-packed? It's an action game, not a turn-based one. How does that affect you? It makes... What it does, you know that cone that appears around you whenever you're about to fire a bullet or something? That is reduced to absolutely nothing. It's pathetic. It doesn't even surround Aya fully. It like goes up to her waist and then goes straight down. Well, I get to show it off here. Look at that! That's ridiculous! How am I supposed to work with that? That's all you get. And you just have to deal with it until it goes away, or until you use a Cure D, because you have no parasite power that can cure blindness at this point. Unfortunately, you have one that takes care of poison, and it's also the reason I equipped that thing on my armor. So really, the snakes are no big issue unless you get unlucky like I did. It's the bats you gotta aim for. And the worst part is, the strategy guide tells you the exact opposite. They tell you, you know, the bats might be annoying, but the snakes are the real problem. No. The snakes, if you don't attack the bats first, frankly, you're an idiot. Those things are the issue. Trust me on this one. So this is also the reason I pick up any cured Ds whenever they're dropped, is because you always want at least 2 or 3 of them in your inventory at all times. So yeah, that's basically the rundown of the enemies you're going to be fighting in this place. It's just snakes and bats. And then, of course, they give you situations like this, where you've got like 2 bats in one of these extremely narrow hallways, and it's near impossible to dodge the attacks they throw at you. Because, I try. However, there is a way to, if you have no cure Ds, there is a way to work around this. And I'll be showing it off if it becomes prudent here. Just a second. Let's see if I can pump some bullets in this guy. No! Damn it! Okay, well, at least I get to show my workaround. It affects all of your attacks. You can try attacking these guys while your range is down, but you'll probably miss, first off. And second off, you're just going to be wasting ammo. For the first time, it may actually affect you in a negative way in terms of ammo. But what it does not affect is energy shot. Boom! And that's so powerful, it wipes them out in one hit. The only thing you have to really worry about is the fact that you're stuck there for just a second or two while you cool down from the use of that ability. Other than that, that's pretty much everything you have to worry about down here. Pick up our cured Ds, heal up my health, and I'll meet you guys at the location of the next treasure. Alright, you may not think there's anything in here. You look at this and you really don't notice anything. The treasure is actually hidden back here. See the lid opening up? That's an offense +1. More power! Yeah! Make your way down this hallway right here and you'll notice a little sparkly on the ground here. Go ahead and pick that up and grab yourself a tool. And this is kind of an interesting path. I'm not going to cut away quite yet. Because you'll notice there's a little path here. It winds back around. See? And here you'll also find a defense +2. Definitely going to help against one of the bosses we're going to be fighting here in a bit. Yeah, I have a feeling this episode is going to run a little long, both because of the run-through I've got to show about these sewers here and how to get all of the items, but also because there's a very specific event I want to work into this episode. Just kind of get it out of the way so that it's not awkward later. Trust me, it's a perfect ending off point. Hop right into this room here. Fight a battle, of course. This is just cruel. Fire your last wave. Okay, now I can start working on these guys. I have a quick moment of peace to work with here. Leave me alone. Shit! And I still don't have my area of effect attack. Well, that's why you carry cure Ds. This is also another reason haste could be really handy, is because it fills up the AT gauge faster, so you'll be able to use an item at the time it takes for these guys to wind up another attack. So you technically don't waste a turn using the item and curing yourself of the effect. You can get right back into the fray as quickly as possible. There we go, level up. And I got Gene Heal. This is a very interesting Parasite power. Yeah, why not? 4 cure Ds. Actually, that might be a little bit of overkill. I don't think I'm going to need that many Gs. Yeah, this is a very interesting Parasite power. It will heal you slowly in battle. So you think it's like a regen effect, right? You just cast it once and you don't have to think about it. Wrong. It constantly uses Parasite energy to slowly recover your HP. So you have to toggle it on and off. It's kind of a useless ability in that sense. And since that it uses up a lot of energy and you have to waste 2 turns with it. Let's see. All right, this is the room with that weapon. Down here, you'll find another semi-hidden chest, and this is the M870. This is a shotgun, and that's an icon we haven't seen yet. I want to show that off to you guys. What this is, it's burst. Basically, your attacks will fan out, and they'll hit multiple targets within the range. That's a super useful ability, especially after you get your ultimate gun. But once again, that's something we're going to get into later. Right now, we need to stick to our rifle because it's the most powerful thing we've got. Follow the sparkly up to the top of this area, and you will find yourself a range +1. Another upgrade. Yeah, it really helps. It really does. There's a lot of good stuff hidden in here if you're willing to take the time to try and find it, which is another reason I'm doing all this. I just want to show you guys the optimal path and save you as much time as possible. There's also a box with some ammo over here if you want it. Yeah, not necessarily every item in this area necessarily is completely useful, but, you know, just pick up what you want. Just use my guide as a basic rundown of where everything is, and just make your own path from there, I encourage you. If you think not everything is necessary, or you don't really want all of those power-up items or something for some odd reason, just go ahead and follow whatever you want. Because, you know, when you find out you can live without, you go along thinking about it. Once again, we've got something kind of tucked back in a corner here. But if you take the time to actually walk out and get it, it'll be worth your wait. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we finally found a super tool. Oh, yeah. Remember back when I said these things are gold dust? Oh, you'll find out why. You'll find out why very soon. I'm sorry that I keep building that up, but trust me, it's really cool when you actually find out what it is. When you understand why I'm saving everything. Oh, come on. Don't even give me time to use haste to make up for the fact that I gotta use items. That's just cold, man. Have I mentioned just how much of a crack shot Aya is with that rifle? That's incredible. You see how much she has to wave that thing around to follow that enemy's movements. And yet, she hits every time she's not afflicted with blindness. That's just amazing. No wonder she's a cop. Holy cow. I just had an idea for a bit of fan art. It would only make sense in the context of my comment I just made, but I want to see a drawing of, like, Aya Oakley. I think that would be rather fitting. Open up this treasure chest right here, and you'll find your first Medicine 4. Restores 400 HP. 400 babies! Yeah, you knew that was coming. I'm sorry, it was just a little too perfect. In this box right here, after you probably fight some enemies, you'll find a CR protector. Light but tough armor is what it says. Light nothing. Look at those abilities. Your HP max goes up when you wear this thing. Okay, cool. That's a good ability. But your AT gauge, the rate at which it fills up, goes down. This is some of the most... By itself, this is one of the most useless pieces of armor in the game. Hands down. Especially now that you've got things with anti-poison, fills up your health automatically when you drop below a certain point. It's just... There's no reason to wear that thing. I will eventually be taking that HP max ability, though, and transferring it over to something else. I think that would be a good idea. After you fight a couple more bats, there's going to be a treasure chest right here with an M2033 inside of it. It's another grenade launcher and another grenade launcher with acid rounds. Once again, that's a really useful ability, especially considering that there aren't many enemies past this point that resist acid. So if you've always wanted to be the one dishing out that punishment on enemies that, by the way, have no way to cure it, now is your chance. It's the one time I actually recommend using elemental powers, because in this case, it's actually useful. Rather helpful, really. And finally, one last box. And inside, you'll find a Medicine 3. That's everything. That's every single treasure you'll find in the sewer, at least to my knowledge. If I missed anything, please let me know, because it's entirely possible at this point. You know, I think I've scoured these paths as much as I could, but it's a big place. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's something I still don't know about in there. Just to recap, while Aya climbs this impossibly tall ladder, this is a list of all the items I found. You should keep track if you're going through here and make sure that if there are any items on there that you don't have. If your list is missing any items on here, or it doesn't have the same number of items, you missed something. So consult my map, go back and try again. Now, in here you'll find the Club 3. Final club in the game, actually. So, it's got some kind of useful abilities on it, but we'll get to that later. As you know, you can't destroy the melee weapons unless you have another one in your inventory. Now, there is one more bat right here, but he's not the reason I'm holding on to my... Yeah, you kind of can't avoid that attack right there. He's not the reason I'm holding on to my Cure Ds, though, mostly because I could just use Energy Shot to get rid of him. Yeah, I want to save up the items I've got so far. And as you'll notice, my inventory is pretty cluttered right now. I tried to clear it up as much as possible before I came down here. That's another thing I took care of in between episodes. And you'll notice it's still pretty packed. Even considering some of the items I've got, might as well sort that out just so everything is neat and tidy. I know where it is. I still have the Narita, you'll notice, but that's only because the game won't let you get rid of it. I don't know why you don't use it for anything at all, but whatever. Whatever you want to do, game. And after all that nonsense down in those pathways, how about we get a little narrative out of the way, shall we? You know, just take a break from all the action. It's the audience from Central Park. You can tell just by looking at it? How do you know it's not just rust? Oh, that's how. Yeah, that's a little abnormal, isn't it? Aya, I think you're gonna need a bigger gun, honey. Man, look at that bad clipping. Seriously, did you notice that? That thing was going right through the platform. I have to get the slime out of the reservoir before it infects the whole city. Yeah, you don't want to be drinking that stuff. Even though I think we've evacuated everyone already, so this wouldn't be a major crisis as is. Okay, anyway, disregarding that, there are two reasons you want to come down here. Number one, you're going to see an old friend. Now, we got to fight 2 crocodiles. Not just one like we did before. Now we got to deal with 2. I should probably cast haste before I... Oh, I don't have enough for it. Because I used Energy Shot. Well, as you'll notice, there's still 2 targets, but not in the same way there was before. You can only target their heads this time, but there are 2 of them. They also have some new attacks here. They've still got like that wave move right there, but they can also fire out energy beams, and the beams have gotten a bit of an upgrade. If the tip of the beam hits anywhere on the screen that's visible, it'll actually split out and create grenades like that. And those things are super powerful too. If you can, try to keep yourself above a certain threshold of health. Because I figured out there is a small issue with the auto potion. It will heal you if you drop below a certain threshold. However, if you hit 0 without entering that threshold at all, attacks will still kill you. So you need to be careful about that. Very, very careful. So you defeat the crocodiles, you get a level up, some bonus points, and if I remember correctly, yeah, you get some power-up items too. This is totally random, I found. Sometimes I got range, sometimes I got CR or PE +1. I don't know. Your results may vary in terms of the power-ups you get off of those guys. But in any case, extra range is never bad. You can also come down here for yet another tool. And once again, your inventory is going to start looking a little cluttered at this point if you haven't put any bonus points in inventory. I do have bonus points, but I'm going to be pumping them into power again because I'm going to need it. Oh, dear Lord, I'm going to need it in a second. Ugh. My timer says 25 minutes right now, but I know it's going to be just a little bit lower than that after all the edits I'm going to do in the sewer system. Yes, climb, Aya, climb. Don't let it run too long. In any case, there's still some of that slime hanging around here. They didn't bother to change the pre-rendered background at all. And now, especially considering the effects on the walls over here, it's almost impossible to tell where the rust ends and the slime begins. It's kind of an unsettling effect. It's like active camouflage, if you will. You just don't know. It's a shame you don't actually ever, spoiler alert, you don't ever actually fight the giant slime monster. I guess you kind of do in this room right here, but not really. Got a console here. I can move the slime in the reservoir by using this control panel. So, turn it on. You try to use pump 1, but unfortunately, there's not enough power. So what you try is pump 2. Ah, that seemed to do something. What did it do? Why, trigger another FMV, of course. Well, geez, man, there's no reason to throw a tantrum about it. Nobody likes getting evicted, but I'm sorry, you didn't pay the rent this month. I have to do what I have to do. More bullets here if you need them. You know, I feel like I'm forgetting something in this room right here, but I just can't put my finger on it. All right, I gotta turn the pump off before I can go through the door. Yeah, there's a safety mechanism on this thing. There we go. Won't let you through unless you have the pump turned off. By the way, check this out. They actually went through all that trouble to give Aya another animation so they could use it in just one part of the game. There's a little staircase here just in case you can't see it. And this gets kind of funny in a second, that little jumping down thing. You'll see why once we go through this door. And hang on a second, I've had a little trouble with this. Nah, it loaded that time. Nice. No problems at all. Alright. Bring ourselves up here. There's a couple different treasures in this room we're going to have to grab really quick. Over here. Open up this chest. Grab ourselves a CR Evade +1. Ah! No! What did I use that on? Ah, I wasn't paying attention. I used it on the CR protector. Crap! That's an effect of me playing this game too much. I thought I knew where everything was, and I just auto-pathed on the buttons. Ugh, never do that. It can screw you over sometimes. That's why I also only try to carry one weapon, so that it always ends up at the top and I don't have to think about that. There's also a medicine 3 right here if you need it. Also a phone if you want to save. Now, listen to this. Listen very carefully. I don't know why I'm so amused by that. And we come over here. My God, those are some loud footstep sound effects. I haven't been this distracted by somebody simply moving around since Resident Evil 2. Holy cow, guys, it's gravel, not nitroglycerin. There doesn't have to be a mini explosion every time she puts her foot down too hard. Jeez. Here we have a brand new type of enemy, the moles. These guys have a ridiculous range as well. This is another situation where the rifle may prove useful. Simply because you can hit them from outside of their range. Just pump bullets as fast as you can. Yeah, because they hop back down into the ground again very quickly, so I don't want to have to deal with that. Alright. Now, before I jump too far ahead here, let's just heal up a little bit. There we go. I've healed fully, 180 HP, and it's still cheaper than one heal 3. Yeah, that's the reason they give you multiple ones, is so you can do them accordingly. Grab some ammo. And that reminds me, I should probably reload my gun here. Fill it up to full. Parasite energy, bonus points. The reason I'm doing this is because we're about to fight a boss. I hate to spoil the tension here, but yeah, I'm just making sure I've planned ahead for this. Okay, got a bunch of medicine. Got some Cure Ds. Got my rifle filled up, my health topped off. I wish my Parasite energy was at full, but what can you do? Detox doesn't cost too much at this point. As you'll notice if I go into the inventory. Yeah, see how little of a difference that is? And how much it would cost you and how much you'll have left over? Yeah. I told you we'd get to that point eventually. And here we go, guys. In my opinion, this is the hardest boss in the entire game. This is the Centipede. Those attacks right there, that's the reason I got the poison resistance, even though it doesn't seem to be helping me much right now. It's simply so I don't have to deal with all of the extra damage. This guy also shoots lightning bolts at you, and what those will do is inflict blind. So this guy's got 2 status effects you gotta deal with, and they're the worst ones in the entire game. So yeah, this guy requires a lot of micromanagement and a lot of just dealing with things you don't want to deal with. So let's cast haste here right now, see if I can take advantage of the extra turn orders right here. It also lets me help avoid the bolts as fast as possible. Use a Cure D. Okay, come on, you bastard. Try to avoid being in front of this guy. That's your best bet to avoiding damage in this first phase. Yep, this guy has multiple phases as well, on top of everything else you gotta deal with here. And this is where it begins. Now he's split up into 4 parts. I made a grave mistake there. You need to avoid being on the edges. But although it won't help you much, because now all of his 4 parts are going to swing into the center and try to hit you. And yes, all of them inflict poison with their normal attacks. Oh boy, this guy's a pain in the ass. What you want to do is focus down one segment as fast as possible and get rid of him. That way you can kind of hide in the corner here and take as little damage as possible. Just try and keep track of what you're attacking here. There we go. We've already cleared up some room. Luckily, I got some crits there. I took a little extra damage there. It's okay, though. Maybe I can get some more crits. Yeah! All right, come on. Just one more segment. Focus him down. Focus him down. Just barely. One more shot should do it. Come on, you bastard. I've got your number! Woohoo! Best shot in New York just solved New York's biggest subway problem. Got some bonus points out of that. Some ammo, 2 medicines, and a brand new gun. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. I've also gotten power-up items sometimes from that battle. I didn't have to use nearly as much medicine as I thought I would. In fact, I think I can afford to spend some of that now. Nice, that went a lot better than I thought it would. Now, what to put these bonus points in? Oh, why not? Why stop now, right? Now we've got a whopping 60 power on this rifle. You didn't think this thing was redonkulous enough already. Now what you want to do here is swing around into this cable car. There's a couple extra treasures hidden in the back here. You will find both a tool and I believe, yeah, a bee protector. Strong against both slowing and paralysis. So now you don't have to worry so much about that one as well. So you've got both resistance against poison, you've got auto potion, and a resistance against just about every annoying status effect except darkness, but you'll get a solution to that here in a second. And you'd think I'd end off on the boss. You really would, but no. that's not the end of this episode. There's one final thing we need to do here. One more shocking revelation we need to go through. Check this officer. We find that he has a gate key. Gate key to the subway. We passed that a little ways earlier. But now Aya looks off into the city and notices the slime's going towards the museum. How can you tell? I don't see anything but New York out there. Maybe her parasite powers give her vision to something that I don't have? Oh well. Why don't we just move back into the subway? Or not, because that's the end of Disc 1. Yep. That's it, everybody. This game was just a little too big to fit onto one disc. So I think that's going to be an episode right here. So please, join me next time for more Let's Play Parasite Eve. Until then, I'm What the Fnu. Later, everybody.